Okay, so welcome to our information session to learn more about our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program here at Community Futures in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So we love to kind of start these sessions by showcasing just a few of the entrepreneurs that we have supported to start a new business or to grow their existing business. So in Manitoba, we are featuring Debbie of Talking Body Laser Aesthetics out of Stonewall. We have Les Norman Risk Consulting in Flin Flon and Esther of Middle Earthian Crochet in Brandon, Manitoba. And in Saskatchewan, we have Maddie Guibosh, Good as New Detailing Services in Yorkton, and Mandy Keenar of Moon Rose Holistics and Beauty in Lake Lenore, Saskatchewan, and Michael Sieber of Elite Auto Repair in Swift So these are just a few of the entrepreneurs that we've helped over the last couple of years start and grow their business. And we continue to be in touch with them on an ongoing basis to help answer questions, offer support and resources, and just kind of be there as a support walking alongside them as they continue on their entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm.
So what does the Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program do and what does it mean? So we really one of the things I value most about our program is that we are a program offering we don't require lengthy medical documentation or forms for people to qualify. It really is just a personal self-declaration that they identify as being a rural entrepreneur living with a disability or a health condition. And so it's basically just that checkbox, and then people are eligible for our service. So, and what does a health condition or a disability mean? It's a very broad definition. So it's what each individual person would identify and define for themselves. So a health condition, anything from anxiety to asthma, hearing loss, using a wheelchair to support mobility, living with a learning disability or intellectual needs, and anything in between. So, and a disability as that defined by each individual person. And why, just this, the self-declaration aspect and the really broad definition for what it means for people, is really empowering and not, putting up more barriers, which, as we know, a lot of times in health systems and social service systems that can exist and be a challenge for people to navigate. But also it just makes it more accessible and comfortable for people to identify in a way that works best for them and that they feel comfortable with. So, and we love this quote from Rachel. She said, "Don't let your health concerns get in the way of fulfilling your dreams." And self employment is such an incredible opportunity for people who are managing their health or a disability related need because it gives you the freedom and the flexibility to do what you're capable of and what you love doing at times that it works well for you. Not everybody can fit into that box of a Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 job. You need maybe days off for medical appointments, time to rest. Maybe some people work best late into the evening and early morning hours. That's when they're most productive and feeling at their best to fulfill different jobs and use their skills to their full potential. So self-employment can really give people that opportunity to create a way to earn their own income, build that financial independence in a way that suits them. So we're all about removing barriers. So everyone's journey through our program and receiving services will be very different based on where they live, what their individual needs are, what their skills are, and what type of business they're starting. So it's always fun, and we try to tailor and customize our service to suit every entrepreneur. So we like to get people thinking. Sometimes we have people who are coming to this session because they've got an idea or they're unsure, or they just want to explore self-employment and starting their own business. And sometimes we have people who already have an existing business, but they're just looking to build a network and get support. And a lot of times, like you, we have people here learning about services that are available if you work in a helping profession and you're helping entrepreneurs who might, or for an employment option for someone who might want to start their own business, building some of those bridges to learn about the services that are available. So for those who might be watching the recording today, I just want you to think about, if you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, think about your business 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you're a service provider, I want you to think about your role in helping entrepreneurs on their self-employment journey and just envision what that might look like 5 years, 10 years from now. So, either role that you're in, think about the positive impact on your customers, your community, and think about what is the legacy that you want your business or the work that you do in supporting entrepreneurs to leave behind. What's your legacy? So let me know, Carla, if you kind of have a thought on, you can put it in the chat or you can just share. What's your legacy? It's kind of the why behind what you do every day. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you into the work that you're doing?
Definitely. Well, first, my for sure, my family, my kids. However, now I'm motivated to learn about how to build a business here is because I'm working with people with intellectual disabilities that they are looking for this kind of opportunities. And this is my motivation now to learn to keep update what I have to do and how to guide them in creating their business. Um, it's a
Amazing.
still in process. It's not here unfortunately because she is sick today. She was mad today. However, I'm here because I need to uh, hear about what we can do and what is the step that we can do and if it's realistic that we can do this in the future.
Oh, I love it, Carla. And it really is. I love how you use the word can, because so often people get met with barriers in the system or in their life, in their relationships, in their community with the things that we can't do. But we want to focus on what we can do and create those possibilities. And with creativity and innovation, we can find those opportunities. And starting a business, sometimes there's a misconception that it can be that, well, it has to be full time and you have to earn a certain amount of money to be a legitimate business. And that's not the case. We have a lot of people that just have a kind of a hobby side business or a side hustle where maybe they
Mhm.
create some items and they sell them at craft sales or markets twice a year, and that extra little bit of money, maybe if it's a few $100s, but that can be life changing for some people, especially if you're receiving disability benefits. And all the way up to people who have a part time or a full time business, either through their home, online, or brick and mortar store type model business. So everything in between, we're here to support people with some of those ideas, pulling things together, learning those business skills to help them be successful in business and get things going. So that legacy is important because that is the why, right? You're in it to create opportunities for the people that you're working with and be more creative and innovative and staying current on what some of those options are so people can live their best life, while also working to support your own family and your kids. So when that why gets stronger, whether you are an entrepreneur, you're planning to be an entrepreneur, or you're working to support entrepreneurs, the more we focus on the why we're doing what we're doing, that's that strong foundation that we have that helps keep us motivated. Because starting a business is hard. Supporting people on that journey to start a business can be hard. But it is the hard that leads to amazing things. So we're not staying stuck in that hard necessarily. So that's why when we think about, and all too often we get so busy on the day to day and our work schedules and meetings and all of these things and the things we have to do in our personal lives, we don't always think about our why. So carving out those couple minutes to even just start thinking about that is really important. The more we think about our why and that legacy that we want to leave, it gets stronger. And then some of the how and what we need to do to get a business up and running or to grow a business or help people achieve the dream of self-employment, that can get easier. And so, I just like to get people thinking about that before we start talking about the how. What are all the things and the resources and the services that we have? Because that's how we help people get there. And we're here to walk alongside you as a service provider, as an entrepreneur, because you're not meant to walk this journey alone. So, a little bit about Community Futures. So, Community Futures is across Canada. There are actually 267 offices, in rural Canada. Community Futures are nonprofit organizations governed by a volunteer board of directors. So here's the map in Manitoba where we do have 16 offices. So each area of the province, basically in Manitoba, all rural areas outside of the city of Winnipeg are considered falling within each of these regions. So for people who are living in those areas, for anyone in Winnipeg, I will provide resources and support right in town for urban services, or in the city, sorry. But otherwise, that is our map in Manitoba. And then in Saskatchewan, we have 13 Community Futures offices in these various areas. So anywhere outside of Regina and Saskatoon is what is considered rural in Saskatchewan. And our EDP program is in 90 offices across rural Canada, sorry, and 6 urban offices across Canada. So my role is working within all of these offices in Saskatchewan as well as Manitoba. So we work alongside each of the teams at Community Futures for any client who, does self-declare as living with a disability or a health condition. So the staff at the office, they are the business experts. They're also experts in terms of the demographics and some industry market information in that region where the entrepreneur lives. And we come alongside to offer support for any disability or health related resources, needs, accommodations, things like that. And we also sometimes have special projects and programs to offer some additional funding, supports, and equipment. So that might be helpful for the client. So our services, like again, I said, we do offer individualized services. So based on someone's specific needs, how they learn best, how they communicate best, involving their support network, as appropriate and as they feel comfortable with, whatever we can do to provide accessible and accommodating services. And then we work alongside, like I said, those business experts to learn more about that one-on-one business consultation. Sometimes people come in with a business idea. You don't really know if it's a viable, if it's a good business, what is the market like. Our team will help kind of do some of that market research, give some advice and information to help make an informed decision of whether to move forward with a business. Or sometimes it's just an opportunity to learn about that and then maybe, oh, we're going to pivot. We're going to do it a little bit differently because, this is what might be a better plan for someone. And so they can make the most income and the most impact on their community and the economy. We support people to develop their business plans. We've got great templates. The business plan is often the most overwhelming or daunting task for a new entrepreneur because there's a lot of information to include, but we have great tools that help break it down into manageable sections so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And then any area that someone is unsure of, we can definitely help to fill in some of that information and support that process. But even if people aren't looking for any type of startup loans or financing for their business, we do encourage people to develop a business plan because it really is that foundation for your business that will
Yeah.
help things evolve over time.
Mhm. Just a question here. This training, this part of the service, is it always in person or it could be
Um,
online too?
Yeah, we do have a lot of training programs online, and then we would have some opportunities in person. Every office is a little bit different in terms of what they offer in their region. Sometimes there are in-person time to connect, either in a group, training
Okay,
session or for one-on-one. So if you had a
okay,
client and they lived in the Morris area, the business development coordinator could meet with that client in person as well. Yeah.
okay, sure. Thank you.
And we do a lot of Zoom meetings or we kind of tailor it. And we do have some of our business training is online. So we have a training portal that I'm going to talk about a little bit. So then that's accessible for people as well. It's hard in rural areas, right? Because sometimes people have a long way to travel even to their nearest Community Futures office, but we try to make that work as best we can.
Yeah, well, especially for
So
the weather, right? Sometimes it's a little
exactly.
bit difficult. It's like,
Yeah, we don't want to be on those winter roads for sure. And when the
uh-huh.
weather is good, we try to travel to see our clients as much as possible in their communities. So yeah, we're definitely spring, summer, and early fall are our busiest times that we're on the road.
Okay, that's also perfect.
Yeah. And Community Futures does have, we have repayable loans for viable businesses. So it's not a requirement. All of our services are free of charge as we're nonprofit organizations. But we do have repayable loans up to $150,000 for viable businesses, and even micro loans. Like sometimes someone might just need some of that equipment or some supplies and inventory to get started, either making a product or to be ready to offer a service. And so they might just need $2,000 for their startup costs. And so they could apply for a loan for that if need. So just in a quick snapshot, again, because everyone's journey would be different, but we do have a lot of available resources and supports. So each entrepreneur would work with the Community Futures staff in their region to help kind of plan, understand their business, get ready to launch. And then we are always here for the life of the business. So it's not like we don't just help people with startup and planning. We're here, even if people have been running their business for a couple of years, they have a question, something comes up at tax time that they are wondering about, they can contact us at any time for support and information. And we have that business plan development I mentioned. We have business plan workbooks. I'll be sending a follow-up email after the session to everyone registered with the recording, but also with links to these resources that I'm referencing. So you don't have to worry about remembering everything or finding the links online. I'll send you the link to this great template. Helps people organize their ideas in different areas of their business development. We also have a great 10-step guide for business startup, checklist format, and then business training. So I'll mention and send the link for the Build a Better Business program. So this is a self-directed online business training program, and there are 10 modules, and it really is kind of like business 101 is what we call it. And it's covering all different areas of how to run a business, what are the things you need to think about and do, and learn for yourself. And it gives that solid foundation for people starting a business. Or if you have an existing business and you just want to learn about one specific area, then you can just target that module. So anything from business planning, business startup, to taxes, to how to do your pricing and your cash flow, human resources if you're going to hire employees or contractors, things like that. So we highly recommend that program for everyone. We're working on some updates to it right now, just as things change, in the market and provincial guidelines. But it's quite up to date, and it's great because people can access it anytime. Some people work during the day or are involved in other things, and so they can do, evenings, weekends. If people are awake at 2 a.m. and they want to learn about pricing and cash flow or bookkeeping practices, they can log in anytime, and you have access to it as long as you need. So it's not like a time sensitive that you can only have access for a certain period of time. You create an account, you can log in and go through each of the modules as many times as you need, refer back. Every module has a video to watch, and then there's a workbook and a manual. So we oftentimes have people go through those modules and then make some notes, and then you can ask specific questions and chat with us at the Community Futures office to really, because it's nice to learn things in a general sense, but then you can take what you've learned and then ask questions about it related to yourself, your business, and what you're doing, so that it really connects well and makes sense for you and your business. And we have lots of Community Futures training opportunities. So free webinars, training sessions, opportunities for entrepreneurs to connect with each other and network and build a sense of community, I think is really important, especially in rural areas where people can feel even more isolated. So we try to do a lot of that work in bringing people together. So I would say stay connected to the Community Futures office in your area. We have an online events calendar, so people can stay in the loop about what's coming up and what they might want to participate in. And then specific to our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program, that's where more of that individualized support comes in. So Community Futures supports all entrepreneurs, anyone, from a small business to a large scale business. But in our EDP program, we're specifically offering those additional supports for those living with a disability or a health condition. And we're able to do that through accessing funding through different federal programs that fall under the disability or health stream, so that we can really maximize on the supports and the additional resources that we can offer. So for example, we have a business builder program, And those 6 entrepreneurs that I introduced you to in the beginning of the session, they were all graduates of that program, where it's a 6-month accelerated program with training, lots of supports, group sessions, disability health accommodations, mental health counseling, assistive technology based on their needs. So a really comprehensive program so that we could offer lots of supports to help people be successful. And then we also have $750 grants for people an entrepreneur can apply for either digital marketing or to work with a mentor to help them learn new skills or kind of, maybe fix some things up in their business, or they want someone to sit down and help them with their bookkeeping and their financial records, things like that. So we pay, if someone applies for that, the grants become available April 1st of every year. And we have a certain amount of dollars in Manitoba and in Saskatchewan. So it's kind of based on a first come, first serve basis. And then when you get approved for that grant, then we send that information. We connect the entrepreneur with a service provider in the area that they want, either digital marketing or mentorship. And then we pay that service provider directly up to that $750. So there's no cost to the entrepreneur, and they benefit from receiving the service. And then the service provider benefits because they're a fellow business owner too. So then they will be able to, it's a win-win all around. So we like to use also local service providers to help out other entrepreneurs in their area. So here is the startup checklist and the business plan workbook that I mentioned. So we do have printed copies available at the offices, and they are available digitally for download as fillable PDFs from our website. And I will send the links for those based on where people live, because we have one specific to Manitoba and one specific to Saskatchewan. And then this is the Build a Better Business program. So these are the different module topics of the 10 modules, and it's really easy to get access to the site. I'll be sending the links in the follow-up email, and it's great for entrepreneurs. It's a great tool for service providers who just kind of want to have a look at those modules. So Carla, you could do that and have a look, oh, here's like, so you kind of know what it looks like to see if it would suit any of the clients that you're working with and if it would work for them. We also will make any type of accessibility accommodation. So there have been times where we've printed out the manuals and the workbooks and mailed them out to people because that's, a lot of people do better when they're working with a workbook and they can sit down and write down their ideas. We've also had the videos transferred into ASL. So there's ASL interpretation to support those who use ASL to communicate. We've printed in large print to accommodate those with vision needs. And certainly, if someone you're working with living with an intellectual disability could have a support staff or someone working with them that could go through the modules, but also help them understand it at their level. We do strive to have plain language used and simple language used, and I think we're going to work more on that to make them more accessible in that way. But we'll do whatever we can to help you with the needs of your clients as well. And here is kind of just a sample of what's coming up in November on our training and events calendar. And those links are available there on our provincial websites as well. Of course, we are on social media on our Facebook page. Every Wednesday, or at least once a week, we try to feature one of our entrepreneurs that we have supported and help support and showcase their business and spread the word and celebrate them. So you can follow us on our Facebook and Instagram page to kind of stay in the loop about our clients, but also upcoming opportunities. We do share about info sessions, upcoming webinars, and if we do have any kind of news release about new projects and if we're accepting applications into a special program that might be a good fit. And we do have an upcoming free CRA webinar. We usually host these monthly. So they will start up again in January through April. Then we take a bit of a break through the summer and we'll be back in the fall. So this is our next session will be Tuesday, November 25th. Registration through Eventbrite there. So it's a great support through the CRA liaison officer where they just help small business owners learn. This session is all about learning about GST and HST and what do I have to do to get that set up. A lot of that stuff can feel overwhelming for a business owner, but we try to offer the support and the information so you don't feel like you have to start searching online for things and figuring it out on your own, because that's never fun. It can take up a lot of time. So these sessions are great. They're online, open to anyone. So we like to share kind of some opportunities so people can envision, what it might look like to work with us in support of your small business and creating those opportunities for you and your community. So this is Cassie. She's a creative person. She's got a flair for making TikTok reels and social media posts. She's had some work experiences in school, but she's not held a job yet. She's helped a few friends and family members with their business pages, and she's excited to try to develop this into a home-based business. And she's looking to apply for a loan to purchase some equipment and software programs for startup. She's ready to develop her business plan and launch her business by spring of 2026. So here we've checked that box on Cassie's goal of becoming self-employed and finding something that works for her, because employment was a bit of a challenge. And then a great impact on her community, helping out fellow business owners with their social media, and then a great economic impact. We've got Tyson here. He's a carpenter with 10 years experience. Running his own business gives him better control of his working hours to manage his health condition. He's ready to expand his business and plans to build a bigger shop with more storage. So Community Futures can help him review his financials, assist with updating his business plan to seek financing, and may provide assistance on referrals to disability and health-related organizations that can assist him. We supported Tyson to continue on his self-employment journey and grow that business. Wonderful impact on the community and positive economic impact. So what's next? Like I say, the best thing, I love hearing about people's individual stories. So I always say, if anything resonated or sparked for you, Carla, today, for any clients that you're working with, we can set a follow-up time, either just for you and I, we can chat more about it, or if you wanted us to meet with that client, learn more about their story and start that journey. For those who are living in maybe an urban center, if you live in Winnipeg, there is an EDP Winnipeg program that I can help connect you with for services there. There's also Rise Winnipeg, which is risehelps.ca, and it's a program run through the Canadian Mental Health Association. And then in Saskatchewan, if you live urban and you're in either Regina or Saskatoon, we do have EDP services in both of those cities. So I could connect you there. And sometimes we do have people who register. So if you're here, outside of Manitoba and Saskatchewan and you're watching the recording and you're looking for resources and support in your area, just feel free to reply to my follow-up email after the session. Let me know where you're at and what you're looking for, and I'll do my best to help navigate and send you some information and support you that way.
Yeah, we are in Winnipeg, so everything in Winnipeg will be amazing.
Sorry, Carla?
We are in Winnipeg,
Okay,
and
perfect.
yeah, we both live in I don't know, in the city, inside of the city. But the difference is that one of them, he's looking something in marketing, digital marketing. He's a digital marketing interpreter, and he's very good in that, doing that. And it's another girl that he's baking. He's preparing. Maybe she wants to try something in a small market selling uh, cookies, cakes but she's starting.
Oh,
He's just
perfect.
is her goal for the next year, but she's working very hard, and I don't wanna, I don't know, I want to be, I don't know, the way that I don't know, the helper that she needs to achieve that goal, right? So
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting. I
Okay.
have a question here.
Sure.
EDP business has any cost for this training?
In our program?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have any? What was your question? Sorry.
The fees. What is the fee that they have to pay, or is
Oh, no, our services are free. We're a nonprofit organization, so there's no fee required. There's just a little bit of paperwork for personal information and that self-declaration of living with a disability or a health condition, and someone is eligible for our services. So there's no fee.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, there would
Um,
only be there's fees associated if someone is applying for a business loan. So there's like an application fee, and then of course they'd be if they take a loan, then they're paying interest and on top of their payments. But just
okay.
for support and services and help with some of that training and resources, all of those services are free of charge.
And just a question, for example, if for one of them, if she needs that I be in the training with her, I have to pay for some extra to be there as a
Yeah,
support.
we wouldn't have the ability to have like a support staff to sit and do the training with someone. But definitely we could, if someone's gone through the training and they've got questions after they've gone through the training modules, then we could help with those specific questions. But we wouldn't have a
Okay,
person. We would have that if someone was eligible and in, like, let's say our business builder program, which had those supports built in. We have had people have a support person that we've paid directly, but that's not something that's like in a special program only when we have available. But just in our regular services, we would just support. And sometimes it's that, especially with those living with an intellectual disability, what we would do is certainly my role would be to help the Community Futures staff. So to work with
well,
you and the entrepreneur to kind of understand how they learn best, what they need, and then we try to accommodate that. So because yeah, we would never want just a blanket approach. So my role is kind of because our community future staff, they are business experts, right? So their skills may not be in providing some of that support. So then I could help them with that. And we would also help maybe if you had a staff person in place, or let's say even if it's like a job coach or a support staff that someone has in their network, we could work with them so that they understand some of those business, like they could go through the business training modules and then support the person that they're working with to go through them
okay,
and understand what works well. And sometimes that model, it works a lot where you can have, we have an entrepreneur and then they've got a support network. So let's use the example of the person who wants to, create baking items and sell them at markets. So her skills might really be in the kitchen and creating the product. And in order to have her business be successful, to do the things like the bookkeeping and all of those things and managing the money and maybe
okay.
some of that marketing stuff, we could help people in her support network learn some of those skills if they could then support her in her
Okay,
business, right? So we kind of would
sure.
look at it as more of like a holistic approach to the business, but still, if people could support her in those ways, then she's going to be able to be successful in her self-employment goal. So we
Okay,
kind of, it would look a little bit different in that case. But yeah, we would work with whoever was involved in helping the entrepreneur achieve their goals.
okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you so
Perfect.
much for the clarification.
Great. Thanks, Carla. Because it really is like and I think I'm thinking back to even when you said about your legacy, right? And staying current and being innovative. And I think it's getting outside the box for what the opportunities could be, especially for people living with an intellectual disability, right? I mean, I've worked
Mhm.
my entire career as a counselor, as a coach, and in the disability sector and nonprofit. And all too often, people just they go to a day program or they're set up with a job coach. You know how that works, and those are great opportunities, but there's so much more that we could be offering to
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to see more people having the opportunity to start their own business. And it's such a great fit, right? Because they can really do what they focus on and what they love.
Yeah, for sure. Look, it's that guy that is trying to get his own business in digital marketing. Is I'm very, I don't know, very proud of him because he says,
Yeah.
no, I'm preparing for that. I know that I can do it. I said, for sure you can. And he's awesome. I said, okay, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You just need the opportunity and we can do it for sure.
Yeah.
But we must learn together.
Connecting him. Yeah. And with a mentor, right? Maybe working with a mentor who has a digital marketing company to help learn from and do some of that on the job shadowing. And then what would he do in his business? There's all of those things that we can help set up with people.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you, Stephanie.
Exciting.
This is
Yeah.
I have hope here.
Yes. Good. Good. Well, we've sparked hope today.
Yeah, no,
So wonderful. Do you have any other questions, Carla, or anything I can help with? And I'm going to send you a lot of information in a follow-up email, and then you can kind of think about it, maybe chat with a few of the entrepreneurs that you're working with, and then we can set some follow-ups. And I can definitely connect you with services in Winnipeg as well, and just help you navigate that. So don't worry that you have to do that on your own after the session today.
no, thank you so much for all the information that you provide me and all the information that you will give me give me from this
Perfect.
afternoon. And I be in I will call you or no, send an email to you if I need have another question or if I have another, I don't know, concern with something.
Yeah, we can hop on a Zoom or a phone call, and I can just help you navigate those next steps with each of those people. No problem.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank
Great.
you for your
Thanks for your
time and
time.
thank
Thanks
you
for
for
being
everything.
here. Great.
Thank you
And
so
to everyone
much.
watching the recording, I will send that out and you can just connect with me if you have other questions as well. Okay.
Okay, no, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Have
Enjoy
a
the
great
rest of your
day.
day. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.